What's up, everybody? This is Matt coming live to you from my van. Very, very exciting. We got a lot of kids at my in-laws, and the only place that I can find quiet is from our micro camper. So I am chilling here to do this live stream because it's chaos inside. But it is nice and quiet in here. Hopefully you can see and hear me. And yeah. Today we're going to be talking about Sales 101 as usual, giving some sales tips and sales advice. Yesterday I went through some LinkedIn outreach direct to me and kind of did some critical analysis and talked to actually a few individuals live that had sent messages in, so that was cool. Hopefully we can do some more of that. I'm also going to play a recorded conversation, a recorded sales conversation, so you can get an idea of how those go, and maybe that'll be something that you can utilize in your sales pipeline to kind of help some of those conversations. So I'm thinking maybe we'll do a live kind of commentary section back on that. Yeah. Hey Sanjeev, how's it going, man? Hey Ritesh. Nice you guys to drop in. If you've got any topics or questions or kind of anything you want to talk about, let me know. Part of what I like to do is kind of have the U.S. sales perspective. So if there are any questions on breaking into the U.S. market, or anything like that, let me know. Happy to talk about it, give a perspective. Maybe I can pull up some information that might be helpful on doing something in the sales and marketing world if you're interested. Nice, enjoying the weekend. I am this is my last thing before I'm done for the Christmas holiday, and then we'll be back next week doing some more stuff, but cool. Well, I'm gonna jump back into kind of the LinkedIn side of things and review kind of what's gone in there, so you can kind of see how my outreach to some developers has progressed. Sanjeev actually reached out regarding some design services, so that was cool. And I'm kind of taking a look at some of that stuff, and I'll show you what I'm dealing with when it comes to kind of outreach and why, from a buyer side, it's actually pretty difficult to sort through, who you should be using. So I'm gonna jump back into this and just to kind of show you and give you an update. So I haven't really touched my LinkedIn since yesterday, so let's actually refresh this. And you can see, so I'm at 82, this is since yesterday's podcast, 82 messages, 25 notifications. I'm assuming a bunch of these notifications are invitations. So let's see what we got. So invitations, so this is just since yesterday, generated off one post. I didn't do any more posts to do dev outreach. So you can see just like that's the volume that comes through off kind of just one post. So this is a kind of a cool tool, by the way. It's I actually can't remember what it's called. It's called Accept All Connections. It's just a Chrome extension that allows you to quickly kind of accept everybody, and then you'll get an inflush of messages. But basically, it allows you to really quickly accept messages rather than having to do them one at a time. Yeah. Hi, Irfan. How are you? I'm going through kind of LinkedIn progress right now on sourcing some dev work, and trying to answer some sales questions related to the US market, software, or kind of anything. So if you've got anything, feel free to jump in and let me know. Cool. So that's what we got, and you can see we've got now we're up to 92 new messages. So that's just, I think I'm doing this as much. I'm trying to be like open and honest here. I'm trying to do this as much for the buy side, as well as the sell side. Like, I think maybe the developer community isn't aware of just the volume of outreach that you get, and so it's not actually a bad thing. I think this is great. I love the fact that I think it's really cool that I can have direct conversations with people. Sanjeev, I was able to kind of go back and forth yesterday and have a conversation real time while I'm looking at stuff, his stuff. I think that's super, super powerful, and it obviously warms you up to people, very quickly. I do think it's important that kind of the developer side of the equation sees just like how difficult it actually is from a buyer to weed through and really, find who is the best, and maybe not even the best, but who's just like a good choice for me to go with, for the dollars that I'm putting forward. It is, it's really difficult. And so it's not to say it's good, bad, is this a mop up from yesterday? Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of taking the same, concepts from yesterday and, pushing some other stuff forward kind of on the same front. So I'm actually going to be sharing, a video from yesterday so that we can take a look and talk about the requirements that I have. Maybe my hope is that there'll be something interesting that comes out from kind of the sales perspective. B, maybe there'll be something interesting that comes out from kind of just re-looking at it and digesting. And, this stuff is really hard to do kind of real time. I'm sure you guys get asked to create solutions kind of real time, and that can be really, really difficult, obviously. So the same thing's true on the buy side. When I get asked a question like, what are you trying to do? It's like, well, how much depth, how much detail, like what do we need? So the same thing's kind of true. So I'm going to try to do kind of a critical analysis on myself, as well. But I guess I kind of just wanted to go into a couple of these for a few minutes here. This is going to be fun. My battery's going to run out, so I'm probably going to have to turn on my inverter, which is going to make some noise. So this may be a train wreck, everybody, but that's what you should come to expect. I don't know. Cool. So let's jump into a few of these comments, see how people are approaching. You can, again, I'm trying to do this for both sides of the equation, one from the buy side, one from the sell side. So hopefully the sellers here can get a look at like what other people are doing. And even like, I don't know if people consider this doxing or whatever. Like, I think I've made it pretty clear on my profile that I share DMs publicly. And I kind of treat all information public. So hopefully nobody gets too upset at this. I do think this is it's a learning experiment. I'm not looking to rip anybody apart or anything like that. I think everybody's out there to do their best. I think if I had it my way, we'd all be incredibly successful. Unfortunately, that isn't always the case, but hopefully, we can all take kind of positive learnings from this and, do better across the board. So let's take a look. So I can hear stuff coming in. What is other? Anybody know what this tab is? Other versus focused. I've got no idea. That's a new one to me. I'm taking a look at other because I only got like, never mind. I got a million messages in there too. Abdul, I'm reaching out. So I'm getting contextual backlinks on high quality niche related blogs for your websites and would like to outsource a project at an affordable price. That to me is, really a very cold outreach. It doesn't really relate to anything that I've done. I think this is interesting. I've got all these messages and I kind of want to I'd almost love somebody to ask me like, hey Matt, how would you like somebody to reach out to you in a way that wouldn't, that would be received positively? I almost don't know until I see it, but this to me it's just such a shot in the dark. It's really hard to, I don't know what to do with it. I'm a web designer. I'll customize your business services based website according to your requirements. Yeah. I think when I sell, the general thing that I think you need to present is not that you are the solution. I think what you need to present is the solution, right? Which means you need to find the problem. And almost regardless of what somebody's asking for, if you present the solution to what their problem is, I think they'll gravitate. So, I would, just for argument's sake here, hey Pete, if you're watching this, you should ask your question, live in the channel. That would be interesting. Yeah, now I lost my train of thought, which is awesome. Oh yeah, so most of the time you're trying to present the solution to somebody's problem, but what they generally say to you isn't really their problem. What a lot of the work is kind of looking through the tea leaves or whatever, getting an understanding for what somebody does and what their problem is, and then saying this is the solution to the problem you're having. Now maybe that person reacts positively or negatively or whatever, but that's what I find better, rather than saying I'm the solution to all your problems, just tell me what your problem is and I definitely can solve it. Well, you've kind of already lost me at that point, because it's coming from a fairly dishonest place where maybe you can solve my problem, maybe you can't, maybe you're the right person, maybe you aren't. A real quality salesperson and a real quality sales first organization, if they know they're not the right solution, they will tell you they're not the right solution. They'll send you elsewhere. They'll recommend something, realizing that in the long term, you're likely to come back to them for something, at some point, and getting that short-term hit, it's really not worth it. And it creates, just chaos for kind of everybody involved. Yeah, I know that's hard because especially, so I'm sitting here talking about this stuff, and I'm going to show a video where I'm reaching out to developers to source developers to work on a project. Okay. Now I got asked yesterday, is the project real? Yeah, it's something I want to work on, and but it is the inkling of an idea. It's something that I'm very early, right? I'm not looking to necessarily rush into it tomorrow. I've got kind of time. Which is great. It means I can find the right people, the right solutions, the right partners, before I push the trigger. Now, if I found those people tomorrow, go for it, right? But if I don't, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so that to me, there is a problem. That problem is this product. but there's no real immediacy to. Now there's something else I'm doing, which is this, live streaming thing. And there are, like, you guys probably see, there's all sorts of problems around here. Now, it's surprising to me that nobody's pitched, being able to do something to help me on this, whatever that might look like, whether it's, the technical standpoint, whether it's exposure, whether it's, doing some collabs or something like that to increase reach, those types of things. But there's all sorts of, by being kind of out in the open, I think there's all sorts of, problems that people could identify, what I'm doing, and present a possible solution. So Irfan says, so what is the problem, Matt? I think it depends on what we're talking about. If we're talking about, there's, I tend to work on multiple things at one time, so it depends on, what the solution is you're selling and what you want to do. And so the problem related to the product, I'm going to show in a minute here, and we'll dig into that. The problem related to, kind of live streaming and broadcast is a reach problem. And I'd be very interested to hear people's solutions to that problem. But Irfan, I will get into the product problem shortly here. I'm going to take a look at a few more. I haven't looked at any of these really yet. I'm going to run through a couple of these posts, and then we'll get into the product. So if you want to stick on, cool. If not, no problem. But all right, so Gurpeat. So hi Matthew, thanks for accepting my connection request. So I'm a full stack, so there's capabilities. I found you're looking for software development agencies. So there's a copy paste that isn't great. And I'm giving people's WhatsApp numbers away, so I don't know if that's probably a terrible idea, but yeah, so this is, yeah, so another one, just, I'm trying to find something that I think is, really unique and creative way to contact somebody. Maybe there isn't. We're an agency, so again, this is speaking about capabilities. In-house can start working with ASAP. Like everybody, like it's just, for me, I think, like I said, there were 82 messages yesterday. There were, probably similar, if not more, the day before. So I'm dealing with, close to 200 people that have outreached to me. And, how does, you got to break through the noise. So I think that's, that's one of the keys here, is how do you break through the noise? And I'd really like, it's hard to come up with, like, it's hard to tell people how to break through the noise. You kind of know it when you see it. And that's actually, I think, from a sales perspective, what's worked well for me is, what's worked well for me is basically throwing a lot of different things out there and seeing what gets a positive response back, and then eliminate everything else, take that and expand it, and do a bunch of A/B tests around that option that worked. So doing some A/B, if not A through Z testing, and then continually doing some refinement, is a really good way to refine kind of your sales message and figure out what does work. So you can see that these are very, I don't know. It's just, I engage more personally a lot with, like, somebody coming at me conversationally, where there's like an obvious, where there's an obvious kind of next step. Like, honestly, something like this where it just says, "Hello, Matthew, how are you?" Like, to be like, I'm personally more likely to respond back at this, you know, and at least like that conversation is now rolling versus these other ones. It's like, you know, I get like 3 words and then it's like, let's have a meeting. Like, dude, I don't know anything about you, who you are, you know, and I'm getting all these meetings. You know, that said, maybe that doesn't work either. So I don't know. Sales is hard. I don't know what else to say. I do like when people attach PDFs. I do tend to look at these things. You probably can't see this, but that's all right. We'll see if it's worth showing. No, not really. Yeah, hey, Irfan, so you are 100% right that sales is an agile process. You're 100% correct. Sales is an agile process. Sales is I think, you know, especially like the engineering side of things, like they don't, pure engineers, I'm being real black and white here, obviously. Hopefully, again, in today's world or whatever, like it feels, I don't get this in my daily life, but like my online life, it makes it feel like people, you know, take things. I gotta turn this thing on. There may be some background noise, so apologies for that. Maybe not. Yep. Well, maybe you can do that. I think that'll quiet down in a second. But man. Yeah, so sales is definitely, it's an agile process, 100% related directly to how development happens. It's the same process. It's why I think engineers should be really good at sales. The only thing like engineers need to get over to be good at sales is just that moment of embarrassment that I think a lot of us try to shy away from. So I'm an engineer as well. And the only thing that got me to, you know, get away from that, I'm like a very shy engineer by whatever trade. The only thing that got me over that is being kind of forced to get over it. So I think engineers should be great at sales. They just got to get out of that comfort zone. But if you apply the same practices that go into product improvement into sales process improvement, same thing, same exact thing. And it is, you know, it's slow, it's measured, it's, you know, oftentimes like management thinks it should be happening overnight. Like, think about a product you develop. Like, you can develop an MVP to do anything overnight, right? But for it to be, you know, sustainable and you know, something that doesn't break, takes time. Like, you just can't, you know, it's impossible to just shove a product out and, you know, have it be perfect. So I think sales is the same process. So, all right, I'm not seeing anything that blows my mind off here. I will try to pull up some really good examples, because there have been people that have reached out to me that have been surprising, where it's like, all right, let me talk to this person, and maybe that'll be helpful on how you kind of break through. But I don't know if this probably isn't super helpful right now, because I'm not seeing anything that's, you know, this says, "Dear hiring manager." Like, dude, you know, I mean, this is a LinkedIn direct message. Like, "Dear hiring manager." Yeah. Anyway, all right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pop up this video from yesterday that kind of goes into more about the product I'm looking for, and I'm gonna try. we'll see if I can stop and start and comment. I may let it play for the majority, but you need to have a good initiation. I'm gonna let this thing play and we'll see how it goes. So let me see if I can figure out how to do this.
I was just trying.
All right. So again, this is a conversation from yesterday, and it'll just go more into the product so you can kind of see what's going on. And yeah, let's do it.
Over here, I was just trying to give you a brief about one of your LinkedIn posts, which I have seen. Maybe you are in need of web development services for you. Yeah, definitely. I would also like to invite our CEO Mohit Ramani, who is also joining this call maybe in few seconds. Yeah, just a moment. We are from India, and we have Rajkot, Gujarat. It's Rajkot. You can just search Rajkot in Gujarat. Yeah, definitely. Actually,
So I'll say that the first thing kind of here, like
okay.
when you don't have, you gotta have be on camera, like just. And I don't know if maybe this is a comment for like selling to the West or something like that. Like you got to be on camera. Like it's one of those things, and eventually they do get on camera. I like these guys that I talked to. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna get names perfectly here. I can't remember who I've talked to. I haven't. But so I will. These guys were gonna pull together a proposal and talk to them. So I will talk to them again. So I'm gonna be. I apologize for being critical. I think it's just for like learning. Everything can always be better. We can tear me apart in this as well. So that's not a problem. But be on camera, man. You got to be on camera. It's the expectation today. I know it's uncomfortable, but it's the expectation.
Definitely. Actually, over here we are a team of 35 plus members, in-house team, and you can just search over here Imperial Infotech if you needed. I'm just sending you the website URL of ours. Yeah, we're into this business since past 5 years, and our CEO is. Our company is located in India since past 8 years, and we have 2 offices in Rajkot, as I described to you. Maybe one more member is joining with us. If you can just accept his request. Maybe I'm. Yes. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey,
Yeah, definitely. Actually, this time we are at our home because it's 30 at night. Okay, definitely. Okay, so let's start quickly with the things. Yes.
All right, so I just realized that my mic wasn't picking up for some reason. So this will be a one-sided conversation. Let's see how it goes, though. I'll try to explain some more as we get into it. Maybe my mic switches on.
Sir, so I just to describe the things about our company, where we're located, and some more details about our in-house team that we are a member. We are a team of 35 plus members, where we are also working with mobile development and also the website development. Also, we are working with many of the technologies like PHP, Laravel, Kotlin, React.js, Node.js, AngularJS, etc., etc. Okay, let me. Sorry.
hello Matt. Hi. Hi, how are you? Hope you have a great celebration week for this with your family with the Christmas season. Oh, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We can start with the requirements of yours, like you are in need of the website development from your side.
I have no idea why my sound isn't picked up, but I know the first kind of thing I asked these guys to do was give me a little bit of information on who they are and what they do. So that's I think that's what I want to see here. So
Yeah, so Matt,
take a
basically we are working on website development as well as the mobile application development, both the side. Okay, so we have expertise within the PHP Laravel. We have worked from last 7 to 8 years, and we are also working on Node, React, and Python. Okay, and we are working with the web designing part. We are using we have expertise in HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, then SAS, and latest we are using the Tailwind most probably, because our all customers are looking for the Tailwind right now, so we have expertise in Tailwind as well, right? And with the mobile application development, we have in-house resources for native Android, native iOS, as well as Flutter. So right now we are most probably getting our expertise into Flutter, because we have more than 5+ years of experience developers in the Flutter, and we have almost 6 developers in the Flutter. So right now we are working in the hybrid application development, which is a Flutter. Yeah, so most probably we are working on the same technology from last 6-7 years.
so you can see, so we start out with capabilities, talking about capabilities, which I know I asked the question directly about who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
I think coming at it from like a more solutions oriented rather than a capabilities standpoint is a lot better sell. How you help customers,
most probably within our
those types of things. Like that's really, I don't care about from a buyer standpoint, especially like a generalized buyer, right? I'm not a CTO. I'm not a technical buyer. I'm a non-technical buyer. So from a non-technical buyer, I don't care about capability. I don't care about languages and stuff like that. Like somebody else cares about that. What I care about is like, can you figure out what my problem is and relate to what the problem is and that type of stuff. So yeah, hi Priyank, thanks for actually taking a look at this. Like I said, I'm not sure if you were tuning in earlier. I really enjoyed talking to you guys, and I'm kind of taking apart a pitch just because it's content, but all in all, I think you guys came off as very personable. So hopefully this is just good critique for the next time. But what I care about is not necessarily capability, but like how you solve a problem, how you we're as a firm. I think a development firm is around to really it's to solve issues. It's to figure out what do you have, and like here's how we would implement it, and don't worry about all the technical problems. So capabilities to me, I don't believe is the right lead in to sell. I think we get there eventually on this call, and it turns out pretty good, but that's just advice for others. That's not where I would start.
Our journey, we have worked on many types of project, but we can as you want to know about our basic skills, we in which kind of application we are expertising. So we have worked on the ERP system, okay? We have worked on e-commerce, as well as the best technology or best skills we have, which is Google Map application, which would be a kind of a ride application, or good delivery applications. And one of example I would like to give you, that from last 6 years we are working on the riderow.com, which is the ride application like the Uber and Ola or something. We are working on from last 6 years. So, and we are currently managing the particular application from last 6 years. So we have a huge experience in Google Map application. Then we have worked on e-commerce, which is multiple kind of payment gateways we have worked with, multiple kind of third party SMS or email, or any integration like we have used the Trello integration, we have used the Google Drive integration, Google Sheet integration. Every kind of third party we have already worked on. As well as we have worked with one of our Mexico client. We have worked with the Zabbix, which is a Linux monitoring tool. So we have worked on the Zabbix as well in the last, right? So yes, most probably we are working on SIEM actually.
Man, I really wish I could hear what the heck I was saying here. I got to do a better job in recording. I wanted to be critical of me, but I can't be critical of me because I can't hear. Let me try to fast forward this here in a second. Yeah. So I think one of the just to give a compliment out, one of the things these guys did nicely was, so the product I was describing, I kind of have two. I have a market with a problem in mind. When it comes to a solution, I've got a couple ideas of solution, but I'm not actually anchored to one solution necessarily, just because I don't know the cost, I don't know the difficulty, so I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket on how to solve a customer problem before I know what it is. But one of these things these guys did nicely is, I asked at one point, around AI/ML type services, which is kind of necessary for the ultimate solution to be able to come to market, and they actually said no, that they don't have the capabilities in house. And I think that actually was that's something I really appreciated. You don't
So definitely see what we can do. At this
you
moment,
don't hear often from people that like they can't do something. It's generally like, yes, absolutely, like we can do that, or we can find the people, right? You don't hear like no. And actually the no is nice, because then I know, okay, what is the line of what they can do. And like, look, I know I can hire somebody to do anything I want, right? The problem is like, or when whether it's somebody or a firm or whatever, the problem is when it is cost. And the reality is like, I'm coming to like small dev shops, mainly like kind of like small, front end, some amount of back end, but like not necessarily like just changing the world with brand new technical development, technical like know-how or whatever. Like, and I think we're both aware of that. And so actually by them saying no, it kind of checks me and makes me think like, all right, if I'm going to be in this price, unless I'm going to spend, $25 million, if I'm in this price point, like I probably can't get that. So I'm going to need to change my solution. If this is kind of the not the caliber, but like the level of spend, I guess, that I'm willing to, put forth. So I actually really like when people tell me no, because it forces me to kind of change, my ideas and kind of deal with reality, rather than going down a road that, is never going to work. Let's see what else comes out of this conversation. Then I'll jump back into kind of explaining what problem I'm trying to solve, and then maybe we'll close this thing out.
I mean, we shall have to schedule one more call to discuss the things in detail, where you might be telling us the detail about your project ideas, your product ideas, and how it will be working. And then maybe we can try to implement those things on a prototype or something like that. And on the based on the prototype project finalization and project details, we can move further to get started with the things, maybe step by step, or maybe do phase by phase, maybe, or maybe we can work phase by phase by doing the phases of the particular product. For the industries, and it was a great experience to work with them. And maybe at that time they were the expertise to launch some sort of industrial certifications. So yes, we have worked with such type of projects where we create the ideas into realities. Yes. Hesitating to share your product idea, then we are also ready to sign NDA, because we never share such things with the client or something like that.
Right, so the idea or a rough idea will be best for us, and based on same we can come up with our outputs, our inputs. Okay, and based on same we will guide you that what kind of information we need and what we do with this. So for example, if any user will come up with any of applications, so for example we are taking the application of ride or a taxi booking application, so we have a different test cases, we have different scenarios. That, so for example, if the user will be let long 1 and let long 2, between the difference between two destination which is 100 kilometers, but if we have another ride within this route, how we can manage and how we can save the fuel. So this kind of ideas we are come up with, so that based on same the company can get more profit, right, and more ideas and more features to the customer, rather than they taking from our competitors, right. So we will definitely come up with our new ideas with, and what would be the best solution and easiest solution for the user, which is not a customer, but whom working on this application, or whom use that application. The basic idea of user should be get the best UI as well as the best experience while using the mobile.
All right, I think I'm gonna stop here. It's annoying to me that I can't hear myself, but let's here's what we'll do. We'll do kind of a wrap up of that. I'll kind of describe what I'm trying to put forth in a little more detail. I apologize. I thought my voice was going to be recorded on that, so I was going to be able to critique my idea, but clearly I have something to learn. And yeah, maybe that'll give you some information. Irfan, I do see your questions here around what's more important. I will add that into my answer too, so we'll make sure we get your questions answered as well. So let's talk about the market that I'm trying to help. So the market that I'm looking at is the kind of small to mid cap legal or law services market, whatever you want to call that. Law offices, lawyers, right? And if we go to if you go to their website, so let's see, like lawyer. If I just let me pop into here, we'll just Google lawyer. LYER, lawyers. Cool. And let's just go to that's a law directory. I want to go like law off. I go to a law office. All right, this is terrible because we can't. Okay, something legal solutions. This guy, legal solutions. Sure. Oh, this is fun. Okay, so this is like super standard. I mean, this is actually not that standard. I mean, this is better than most. This is terrible though. I like. I hopefully I don't need a attorney in St. George. So Like this website to me is like if you put your head in the space of somebody that needs an attorney and they come to this, like think through that. Like you've got whatever this thing is, like the scariest thing ever. You've got a phone number up here that, like, I guess if I have an Android, and then you always, you've got to get in touch, which will take me to a form, right? So what I want, these guys actually, like, I guess I can get a custom callback too. This is really standard though. Like, so, think about when you want an attorney, like generally what you want to talk to an attorney. Now, obviously, like, there's the problem of money, right? But let's just say when I'm going to a law office, what I don't want to do is I don't want to look at a website. I want to talk to an attorney. It's just like the problem that e-commerce solved, right? When I went to a website, like I wanted to buy something, I didn't want to look at a website. I wanted to buy something and have it delivered and, whatever. So e-commerce, came out. To me, this is a similar type of thing. I want to talk to an attorney. I don't want to, look at a website. So, right. So Irfan's saying there's too many blockers. Exactly. There's too many blockers. So there's two pathways on what I want as a customer when I'm coming to a law office. One, I want to talk to somebody and get like advice, right? And maybe that's a certain segment of lawyers or something like that. Maybe it's like drunk driving cases or like, it's like there's some immediacy, right? So I need a lawyer's opinion. And then like, yeah, maybe there's a long tail of where money's made, but like immediately, I just need some advice. I need to find somebody I can trust. Okay. That's one segment. Another segment to me is something like, I want to file a lawsuit and I just like, I'm like, maybe I'm vindictive or I'm angry. I want something to happen, right? And I'm not looking for advice. I'm looking for action. All right. Those to me are the two different pathways. And that's what I believe people are coming to these sites looking for. They're not looking to get in touch. They're not looking for this stuff. So the solution so those are the two pathways of solutions that I would like to develop. Now, how they're developed, how they're implemented, there's a lot to look into, which is why I'm kind of exploring, dipping my toe in and trying to find the right partner to really navigate. All right, how do we get to a product, without just saying, let's start developing? And I'm like very conscious of that. And I know we can do a lot in figuring that out. I also know that there's cost on other people's sides of, figuring this stuff out. That's why I'm very try to be a little bit hesitant in just, rushing in. But anyway, so those are the two markets. That's what I'm trying to attack. And the solutions that pop to my mind on one side, so on the I want to talk to an attorney immediately, is something like, basically like an immediate, like pop into Zoom and let me talk, pop into a Zoom meeting and let me talk to somebody immediately, like basically with just like a push button, on the website that, pops me into the lobby or knocks on somebody's door. They let me in and then I'm in the office. And maybe there's, a wait list or something like that, for access. And really what we would do on the law side is we would staff, rather than that line going directly to a partner, we'd staff it with a lower level position that could, be doing whatever admin work that they're doing, but also have their camera on at all time. And as soon as somebody knocks, in 10 seconds or less, they click, admit, they come in the meeting, they have their whatever. And now, it's a lead generation tool. So thinking about it as a lead generation tool, thinking about offering these kind of like little pieces of legal quote unquote advice and whatever, put it whatever, if people are worried about getting sued because it's legal advice, put whatever, checkbox that you need to make sure that we're, covered or whatever. So yeah, so Irfan, you brought up virtual doctors. I think that's a great corollary. I think there's, maybe some tuning around the edges for this market. I think that's a great, idea and solution. What I have no idea is how does that product get to market? So you've got this virtual, doctor product. How does that actually, come to market? What is the product look like? What does the sell look like? What does the ask look like? And then let's throw that in front of attorneys and see if it works. So that's kind of one solution that I'm looking for and am interested in. I think on the other side, the documentation side. So let's take filing a lawsuit, because I think it's an easy but a hard case at the same time, and it's something that I think requires some pretty advanced tech, but somebody probably has a better solution than I do. So, I think filing a lawsuit is something that like really anybody can do for any reason. Like, the hard part of filing a lawsuit, frankly, is just filing it. It seems to me, so if with these AI text generation services, there should be a way to quite easily craft kind of the generalized doctrine of a lawsuit, and then we could follow up with some very basic, add-on services for actually submitting it. So potentially there's a product of, type in, the basic information, we create the basic sections. So in a lawsuit, there's a basic kind of format that things follow. So you kind of put in your basic information, and then this kind of bot would essentially tune the language such that it sounded more like legalese, and then we spit out the document, and then the document basically gets produced. Now, how people pay for that service, the documentation is one piece, the submission's another thing. So, the product could be creating the documentation that then we could plug into an attorney's website that then they could, do the filing or whatever. But it's done at like a flat rate. And it's done at a flat rate because they're just filing kind of this legalese that, a bot spit out. And so we can control costs. So the customer's doing all the work. We know the filing charges. Filing charges are basically going to be the same thing every single time. You file it, c'est la vie, you're done. So there is, obviously on both of these things, I'm talking about legal advice. There's some disclosures and disclaimers and stuff like that to make sure nobody, gets sued and stuff like that, which is, I think, Irfan, why the virtual doctor thing is interesting, because I'm sure they have similar, issues. But yeah, those are the two generalized ideas. And where I get stuck is I've got these ideas. I think the market's interesting. Like, I think I've got a pathway to get to the market. Implementing a solution, what a solution looks like, what the sell looks like into these places. And when I say what the sell looks like, the product needs to be aligned with that. So, finding a firm and a company that understands those things is well aligned and wants to put the time in, that's, I think, the important part. So hopefully that gave people a flavor. I don't know how many people stayed on to get to this point, but hopefully a few of you do. And if you'd like to talk more detail about this stuff, I'd love to talk about it. I think these are big markets that have been relatively untouched. If you take a look at these small law offices, they're running on WordPress. Their websites are kind of a train wreck, and I think we could do something that looks in the form of like a Shopify for law offices, just like Irfan, just like you're saying for virtual doctors. I'm assuming the platform looks something like that. Maybe it doesn't, but that's my assumption. The guy's in the corner. Yeah, I know. This guy is just like, it's amazing. I'm sorry that I left it up, but it's just, I can't imagine coming to the site and being like, that's the guy. That's what I'm going for. So I think we can help these people a lot. At the end of the day, like, they're lawyers, right? Their website shouldn't look great. They need help. And I think, that there's a lot of opportunity to help them. So hopefully that was helpful. Ultimately, like, I'm really optimistic on this stuff. I think there's a lot of opportunity on the digital landscape. And, I think if the technologists and the sales organizations can come together and work together rather than, you know, it having to be a one organization take all. You know, I think there can be a lot of improvement. So I'm coming up on my hour, so I'm going to dig into one more thing before we jump off. And Irfan actually asked a really interesting question here. So asked, what's more important to you in terms of product development, getting the job done or speed to market? All right, so let me see if I can pull up a presentation that I did a couple times ago. Let's see. Oh man, that's not what I meant to do. Let's see if we got this. All right, there we go. Top 3 value attributes to consider. So I think when you're selling on value. You're always selling on value. That's what we sell on. We sell on value. Okay. I think that's important to know because like it gets into you know answering your question. Hold on a second. I just want to take that thing away. Okay. So to me, value, the term value is really an amalgamation or combination of these 3 things. So you got price, time, and quality. And what we're talking about there, so price is obviously the cost that the amount of dollars that I'm spending. Time is the amount of time that it takes, obviously, to complete a project. And quality is whatever. Is it a piece of junk or is it something amazing? And these 3, I believe, play off each other. So I don't think you can't say like, do you want to focus on price, time, or quality? Like you can't just say yes. like great. You know, maybe over time, yeah, that's funny. I was just over time we could focus on these things, but then it's just like, okay, well now time, you know, time is the variable that we've thrown out and just said, okay, you know, go to infinity and yeah. So yeah, so those are the 3 things that I focused on. And I was talking about the other time, like basically when I try to start selling, like I set my baseline. What I want to establish is what is the midpoint of what we can, you know, when we consider these 3 variables, what combination of variables do we hit to get to our midpoint? So what is the price point? What's the time horizon, and what's the quality that you and I can agree is kind of the midpoint? And what then we can do is then we can say, okay, well, if we adjusted price, how would it affect the other 2 variables? And am I at my midpoint? Am I above my midpoint, or am I below? So I think the question that you're asking me is kind of getting into that, you know, that question around like, okay, like, you know, how do we want to tune these to accomplish, you know, the best result? So yeah, so to answer your question, specifically related to this project, I would argue my number 1, well, let's say this. How about this? Time takes a back seat to price and quality, meaning like price, like this to me, I think these are high risk, high reward ideas. But that risk tempers what I'm willing to put into it. So I think if you could develop a product for this market that you could prove worked, I think you're going to take the entire market. Like, I don't think anybody's developing anything for these people. Like, they're using WordPress. There's no solutions. E-commerce checkout doesn't work for them. This is a forgotten market. So to me, like, you know, the risk is high, but the reward is high. But what that means, because the risk is high, Like I can't put a ton of dollars behind it. So price is low. Time horizon can be long. I'm okay waiting. Like that can be okay. I don't think nobody I'm seeing is attacking this market. There's no real competition. So it's more about getting the thing right, than not. So then we get to quality, and Irfan, I'm seeing, you're saying quality comes in stages. So I think of quality as really a composite, or if we think about like a product as a composition of features, I think one of the ways you can improve quality in the short term is by limiting features. And so what I would suggest is, I think what we want is high quality, very limited feature set. Like literally this thing should do like one thing, and that's it. And it should be so simple, but solve a real need. And that's a way that I think we can get high quality at low price with a long time frame, and like actually have something viable and ready to go to market. So that's how I think about it. Really just how do we, and rather than the thing needing to do everything, like what is the one thing that it does well? And that's where I'm not sure when it comes to, should this be a WordPress plugin, or does it need to be a standalone? Or like when it comes to the actual solution, that's where like, I really actually need somebody that like hears me and is like, I got it. Like I got the solution. Like here's what it is. And yeah. So if anybody's gotten to this point and they think they've got an idea in their head, I'd love to hear what the actual implementation of a solution would look like. What do you actually think would be? Would it be a standalone? Would it be a plugin? What is the user story for how this law firm would, come about and implement this product? How would it go? And I think if we can answer those questions, we can get close to actually pulling the trigger on something. So cool. Awesome. That was, I appreciate all the commentary and questions. Irfan, you were an all-star, obviously. Sanjeev, appreciate it. Ritesh, thanks for popping in. And Priyank, the all-star of my podcast, because I used a conversation that we had. I really appreciate it. I will be reaching out to you guys again in the future. And really appreciate the commentary. This was fun. We're going into the weekend, and I think I will be taking Monday off. So if I don't chat online with you before then, have a great weekend and take care. All right, see you guys. Bye.